Now that we're done with that, I did want to touch on one thing I noticed. This is an unfortunate side effect of working with different businesses that aren't used to how special this car really is. And yeah, unfortunately, looks like that one of the technicians working on the AC must have stepped on this side skirt while he was getting out of the car and cracked it, or they put the lift underneath there under the side rail instead of using one of the hard points and maybe cracked it that way. But that's a bummer because these side skirts are they were made by TEC Automobile Design, Tech Automobile Design of Germany in the early 90s, and they are one of about a half a dozen sets that they made. So very, very rare. It is hard to find. It took me 10 years of searching to track down one of these sets. Fortunately, one of my friends came across them, and he knew I'd been looking, and he reached out and said, hey, these are up for grabs. Do you want them? And he gave them to me gave me the opportunity to get them. But this crack in the carbon fiber gel coat, and like the whole thing is now separated from the structure underneath. This is a bummer. This is not going to be easy to fix. So yeah, I reached out to the shop that was doing the AC work, and we'll see what they say. But they're not replaceable. It doesn't look like it's going to be very easy to repair. I may just have to live with this as another, road warrior badge of honor that I've had the car for 200,000 miles. But that's a bummer. Anyway, the front end has also seen some better days. Gel coat's cracking up here, and that's just from road debris hitting it and doing its worst. So yeah, well, we'll see what happens there and just do what we can to repair it. I'm going to take just one little side trip along the journey of reassembling. You may recall during the smog saga that I had reattached these coolant lines that run coolant through the throttle body to warm it up for smog purposes. So of course now I don't have to worry about smog for 2 more years. So all these are doing now is running hot water through my intake, making my intake charge hotter, which robs performance. So I'm going to go ahead and, with the help of this handy dandy double barbed hose, bypass this so that we don't have whatever loss we're getting to power out of this. It might be 1 horsepower, it might be less, it might be all in my mind. I think it's probably not, because that does actually have an effect on emissions and negative performance. So I'm going to go ahead and bypass it and keep that intake charge as cold as possible. So I've used a couple of these hose pinch, I don't know what they're called. They're just these locking pliers that pinch off hoses gently without breaking them, so that you can do stuff like this without losing all your coolant. And of course this very handy dandy factory evil hose clamp tool is coming to my rescue here to be able to back these off down the hose. And this one will be a little tough because it's right up against the body trim or the engine cover trim. But I'm going to go ahead and that one totally just fell right where I don't want it to go. So I'm going to use this just to convince it upward a little bit. And that should be enough. Let me get some purchase on it. Slide it down out of the way. Perfect. Alright, so that's good. And now I should be able to just gently slide these guys off. Insert. Little bypass. And go ahead and slide the hose clamp up to it. That one's happy. And this one as well, we'll go ahead and just convince it to ever so gently slide off. Give me a little spray of coolant there, but it's alright. I'm not offended. I'll remove it from that. And I might as well pop this one out as well. You see it. There we go. So we'll take this clamp and slide it up into matching position with the other one. And just very gently moving it up. Position these. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so those two are connected. Release these pinchy pliers. And it's just going to go down there. So I'm going to use this to hold just one end of it in place, and the other can hang out there. Out of sight, out of mind. I've got a couple of vacuum caps I'm going to stick on the end there so that it looks neat and tidy, and take care of that. There we go. Couple of vacuum caps on there, hoses out of the way. Somebody broke the side skirt, which is a bummer, and that'll be another project for how do you repair carbon fiber that has been cracked or damaged. If you are aware of folks who work with such things, go ahead and leave a comment. I'd appreciate that. Maybe give me a heads up. Who have you used to repair cracked carbon fiber? I've certainly got enough of it lying around. Actually, I still have the carbon fiber wing that was on my car that when I drove off the cliff. Let me grab that. It's sitting right over here on my wall of shame. And this was, yes, this was an early spoon-fed tuning wing, and you can see it's been through the ringer. There's a lot of damage on here, and you know, all the way across. But this went over the cliff with me in Malibu, and it was one of my bringbacks. I leave it on my wall of shame to show off that yeah, I really did drive off a cliff and survived, and I've got the remnants to prove it. So yeah, anyway, more projects yet to come. If you've got any particular questions about what I've been doing or why I've taken the approach that I have, feel free to leave those in the comments. I'd love to interact with you. And I think that's about it. The rest of my garage project for the day is actually straightening the workstation that I've gotten here. I started reorganizing my tools so I can find everything when I need them, and I started a toolbox just for the specialty tools that you need when you're working with a German car, because, well, I mean, frankly, I've got specialty tools for my Fiat as well. I'll probably end up getting specialty tools for the Toyota at some point. I'm sure there will be something that is only for that car that you need in order to do what you need to do. But the Volkswagen, between the R32 and the Corrado, there are a lot of specialty tools, not to mention all the Mark IVs that we've got. So getting into that, organizing all my parts, organizing the tools, trying to get things in order so that I have a good functional indoor workspace for stuff like working on that gauge cluster. I had just enough room on my workbench to get to that, but not a whole lot of room left over. So I want to make a workable space, and I've got a lot of other projects that I work on. As I mentioned in my intro video, I'm a Star Wars nerd. I'm actually working on reconditioning my GONK droid right now. It's split in half at the moment, and Yeah, I can just show you real quick. So we're working on our GONK. Let's see here. There's our GONK. Yeah, I've got him cracked open because I'm rewiring all his innards. I'm sorry your parts are showing, but yeah. So this is our GONK. And like a good power droid, he has a USB power port on him so that people can plug in their tablets and their smartphones and their devices and recharge them when we're at a convention. And that's been part of the appeal of this guy this whole time. Originally, it was built as a costume for my daughter when she was about 4 years old. Fit her quite well then. She's grown quite a bit, so it doesn't fit anymore. Now I've got a structure inside so it can stand on its own, and I've got it on a rolling cart so I can bring it along with me. I'm probably going to be modifying the rolling cart to give it more of a Star Wars feel, make it look like a repulsor table. I'll probably add some lights underneath it with LEDs and hide the wheels and do a few other fancy things there. But one of the things we're doing is adding a battery system to this so I can either plug it into a wall and provide power to people who want to plug in their devices at a convention, or I can flick a switch and have them be able to power them from a 12-volt battery. So I've got basically the same kind of battery that you would use for a garage door, just a little 12-volt deal, and an inverter, and we'll be able to convert that to usable power for other situations. So if I'm out in the community and I don't have a place to plug in the power droid, I'll be able to use it in a functional way. Anyway, these are some of the nerdy things that I'm into, and I will see you again. So like, subscribe, GONK.